Welcome to Coleman Report Live. I'm Bob Coleman, and we're talking Main Street and the small business lenders who help it grow. Katie, good to see you. Lance, it looks like you are now NASCAR. You're sponsored by Bass Pro Shops.
That's correct, Bob.
Well, I hope you made a lot of money on that selling that.
I got a race car that has PPP on one side and Bass Pro Shops on the other.
Very good. All right. There are the certificates. We got a ton of stuff to go through. Let's get to it. Number one. All right, this is the curveball, Lance. Do you understand what's going on with Section 1112 payments? Katie,
Bob,
what is the definition? Let me have Katie jump in real quick, Lance. Katie, what's the definition of an 1112 payment?
Yeah, so those 1112 payments, what that's referring to is the Section 1112 in the CARES Act, which allowed debt relief payments to 7A and 504 loans. The original CARES Act originally allowed 6 months, but the recent adjustments have allowed for additional payments and expanded some of the payments to certain groups that could not receive them before.
All right, well, Katie's scripting up. Katie, we'll get to that. Last number surprised you? I'm surprised. I thought it'd be a lot more. Didn't know what's going on.
Well, and of course, some people may not have read the new IFR about the 1112 payments. Bob, I thought about taking the day off again today because of the news of the 1112 payments. But I think everyone understood it before with the new rules that we'll probably discuss in a minute. I had to actually sit down and take notes, Bob, from the IFR.
Well, we got a bunch of guidance and they're all attached. Poll question number 2, do you consider the availability of a 6-month Section 1112 payment? Did you consider that availability when you were underwriting your new 7A and 504 loans?
See, I look forward to Bob. I've had that discussion with borrowers, Bob, where we talked about, if we do this after February the 1st, you're going to get 6 months worth of payments. So it looks like a handful of people have done the same.
But I'm impressed. The 67% said no. I know when you're communicating, I know that was communicated. But that's interesting in terms of the underwriting. Finally, an interesting study that came through from the New York Hospitality Alliance. What percentage of New York restaurateurs, and when we say New York, we're talking New York City, could not make their December payments? What do you guess, Lance?
I'm going to guess it's 90 to 95%.
Lance is correct. It's 92%, Lance. That's a staggering, it's a scary number.
Well, and you throw in, again, I need to be quiet, Bob. I'm getting ahead of myself on the script. But you throw in the change to the 1112 payments, it's going to have an impact on these businesses again.
All right. Let's jump into it. We've gone through this. We fumbled it yesterday in terms of trying to figure out what's going on. So let's see if we can figure this out. Katie,
Bob?
we're to Lance in his notes. Katie, what's going on?
Yeah, so this notice came out yesterday, and it's really just regarding the $3.5 billion in funds that were set aside for Section 1112 payments. The SBA had been looking into it to see whether or not they could make those payments for the full 6 months and as they would plan. And unfortunately, they've determined that they do not have sufficient funds to do that. So they've adjusted their payment schedule a little bit so that certain businesses are now going to be receiving less months of payments due to the insufficient funds.
This is a great chart that Katie put together, Lance. Be sure and download that. Use that as a cheat sheet. Lance, let me ask a couple big picture questions, Lance. First of all, are there going to be any clawbacks from borrowers who have received payments in the past? That's my first question.
First of all, Bob, a quick comment. Katie, new school. Lance, old school. The February payment should be fine because the adjustments didn't really take away the fact that they're going to get some additional 1112 payments. So that first month is fine. So there should not be any potential clawbacks there, Bob. but there's an adjustment on how many payments they're going to get, and this chart very clearly points that out. Do you want me to go over it real quick, Bob, or you want?
Go ahead. I think this is important stuff.
So basically, any loan that was done between or approved prior to September 27th of 2020 that was dispersed after September 27th of 2020, they're going to get 3 months worth of payments. The loans approved prior to March 27th of 2020, prior to the, well, not prior to the pandemic, but basically prior to the pandemic, those will get, they've already gotten 6. So let's point out what they've gotten. They've already gotten 6. They're going to get 2, not 3 CARES Act payments. Those businesses in the hard-hit NAICS, your restaurants, your hotels, personal care, dry cleaners, and some others, you can see the NAICS codes, they were told, or we were all told, they were going to get additional 5 payments for a total of 8, but they're going to get 2 plus 3, so they're going to get 5. A restaurant that had an SBA loan that was approved and closed prior to September 27th, they've already gotten 6, but they're going to get an additional 5, not an additional 8. Now, the one that, Bob, is it okay if I used irritates? No. The one that irritates the dog out of me, guys, is all new loans after February 1st, we were told they would get 6 CARES Act payments. A lot of SBA lenders throughout the country may have delayed putting a loan into the system because
I think we advised that. We advised that on this program.
And so the new loans done after February 1st through September 30 are going to get 3 CARES Act payments, not 6. So, and still there's the magical donut hole group that are still going to get 0. The loans that were done between September 27th or March 27th of 2020 and September 27th of 2020, they already have gotten 6. That's all they're going to get.
Okay, very good. Nice recap on that. We have a chart. Go ahead and bring up, there we go. Very good. Katie put together this chart. These are all the NAICS codes that are affected. And as you can see, there's really no surprises there. Anybody left out that you would have liked to have seen, Katie or Lance?
Actually, Katie, I don't know how you feel. There's some categories there that I was surprised to see there. I am absolutely happy that restaurants, hotels, personal care, personal laundry services, dry cleaners have been devastated by the pandemic. But there were some, like clothing stores, certainly were impacted heavily. Sporting goods stores is an interesting category to me for this, Bob, and I'll tell you why. I have a couple of clients that are in the outdoor, they sell bicycles, camping gear. Their problem has not been revenue, it's been getting inventory in to sell. They had record bicycle sales last year, record camping gear sales last year. So, I mean, it's interesting, but I guess maybe the hobby bookstores, music stores were pretty heavily impacted. So I'm not surprised by the categories, Bob, other than there are a few on here that I wouldn't have suspected to be on here.
Support activities mining comes to,
I'm not sure what that is, Bob. I've never had an SBA loan for NAICS code 213.
Well, maybe it was trucking or something. I don't know.
The big deal, NAICS code 485, like your Uber drivers, would they be in that category?
Sure. The limos, yeah. Taxi limos, yeah. Let's go back to the chart. Tim's saying we have an error, so let's correct it. And is he saying the loans approved 2021 from February 1 through 9/30 are considered second round, not first round?
Yeah, they're considered second round loans. That's correct. So they get 3 second round payments.
Yeah, and so we have a typo in that second column. Tim, thank you very much for clarifying that. Sandy says, I think the key point the chart is missing is full disbursement date. Very good observation, Sandy. Loans approved must be fully dispersed in order to take advantage of these.
That is true. But I think the primary importance of this chart is kind of and I agree with all the comments, but
yeah,
just getting the information out there that we have a change in the number of payments they're going to receive. And I've got to be honest with you, there are two that hurt. One, the additional 5 payments that we originally thought restaurants, hotels, dry cleaners were going to get has been shortened. It's shortened from 8 months to a total of 5 months. The other are loans approved after February 1st, getting 3 instead of 6. Those are the two that I think are the toughest on this list.
Very good. Let's see. You Inspector General's in the news. Katie, what's going on with them? They're releasing oversight. What are they doing on that?
Yeah, so about every year they release an oversight plan listing their what they're currently working on and any additions to their oversight plan. And unfortunately this year there's a lot to do with PPP and EIDL and all of those things, mostly just because this is the year they're going to have to start looking at those things. It's not necessarily that they're going to be particularly hard on that. They just want to make sure that they are providing oversight for those programs. And there are some things that I'm looking forward to seeing. They do want to focus on forgiveness of PPP loans and things like that as well. So I think they're going to provide suggestions for the SBA and any adjustments that they see necessary. Of course, the SBA can do what they want, but they will take those into consideration.
Very good. Real quick, let's talk about this report. Some more interesting stats out of that, Lance and Katie. 60% of landlords haven't waived payments. They haven't worked with the restaurateurs. 40%, what was the number? Some of them have entered into new leases. There we go. 40% have waived some rent. Less than 20% have waived more than half the rent. And only 14% have renegotiated the lease. Lance, you've sat in both seats as both a owner and a tenant. What do you think of those numbers?
Well, they're devastating, Bob. I was a entrepreneur for quite some time and not being able to pay my rent. Everybody who teaches personal finance says pay for your property first, your mortgage payment or your rent, pay your utility bills second, pay anyway, it's the first thing that most entrepreneurs will pay, their rent or their mortgage payment. This tells me that they don't have money for operational expenses, payroll, anything else.
Also, comparing it to prior months, these numbers have been creeping up. In June, it was 80%, July, 83%, August, 87, October, 88, and now at 92. So it's going the wrong direction on that. We'll see how. Go ahead.
Well, and it tells me, Bob, and I hate to I'm sorry. The PPP loan program, second draw PPP, while I love what they've done, those expense categories, sticking with 60% for payroll, it would have been nice if they'd loosened that up, because it looks like, to me, New York City entrepreneurs need to be able to pay rent.
Yeah, very good. We got some comments, and I want to go back in the chart. We didn't give all the asterisks and all the subheadings and whatever, because that would have made, as you know, this is very complicated. But go back to that chart. Tim says, by the way, just make sure everyone understands there's a $9,000 cap for payments on the second round. We do understand that, but again, we didn't put that in the chart to make it easy to understand. Lavina said, hey, apologies, could Lance repeat which loans will get the 11-12 payments? Any second round loans getting to 6 months? Lance, I don't think so.
Your new loans originated after February 1st through September 30 will get,
well, Lance just
free.
Lance froze
11, 12 payments. Is that?
Did you hear him, Katie?
I'm sorry.
He cut out a little
froze
bit.
on me.
I think someone in the government wasn't going to let Lance answer the
Okay.
question. Try it again, Lance.
Yeah. So all loans originated from February 1st, 2021 through September 30 of 2021 will get 3 CARES Act or 1112 payments.
Right, but no one, there is no one who's going to get 6 payments. Is that correct, Lance?
Not newly originated loans. As
Right,
it
that's
stands right now, they will get 3.
Okay. Sarah wants to know, do borrowers have to wait a minimum of 8 weeks to apply for a second draw loan after their first draw loan? Interesting.
Oh, so they're getting a first draw loan in this round, and then they're going to, yeah, they'd absolutely have to wait a minimum of 8 weeks.
It is 8 weeks, okay.
Because that's the minimum covered period.
Oh, of course, of course. I do want to clarify, there was a question yesterday on maturities. We got a bunch of notices that came in the last half hour. One of them, why would you want to do that? Well, SBA make it very clear. They do not maturities 3 months or 6 months and have all loan payments covered. They want you to match, if it's a, whatever the loan is, the industry is, match what you currently do on your books if you're going to shorten that maturity. Is that a fair assessment, Lance?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, and we got more questions. Owners start the application process for employee retention credit.
I do not know the answer to that, Bob. Katie?
I haven't really heard of it yet. I know they were, last I had checked, they were still, had the SBA website under construction. So I'm not sure if they've opened that up yet or how that's going along. I should probably check on that, and maybe we can include that in the show tomorrow.
Very good. Okay, I think we've got, there should be all these key notices attached. We'll make sure, the ones that just came in, we will make sure they get attached for tomorrow. But again, they are hot and heavy in terms of what's happening on that. Jody asked another question. She's having problem processing. And I think that one of the best advice is, I don't think you were on the show to answer return, and some other people suggested, hey, just resubmit it again. And one person commented on the 4th try, they got it approved, and Chris said they've gone up to approved. That is sort of a wonky workaround, but it works. I don't know if you've tried that at your institution.
You know, Bob, it's just like a discussion of getting a purchase demand kit paid. SBA is going to send you back 50 questions, tell you what you didn't have in there, and if you just keep persistent and keep pushing, you'll eventually get paid on the guarantee. And sounds like the new round of PPP has some similarities to that.
Yeah, very good. Lance, you're going to be doing a repeat on our whole webinar on Tuesday. By the way, for those of you who were in the first webinar, if you want to sign up again, we're going to charge you for, if you've already done it, you're welcome to sit in as a guest of us. You're welcome to do that. And then we are putting this together. I may have to move this a week, Lance, because I really want to do a comprehensive guide on restaurant under liquidation. And I wanted to focus on the servicing and liquidation with things that are, I want to make sure that we get the best practice, best accurate information on that. Lance, you're going to be involved with that. Any insights that you want to tell me that
well, I just think, Bob, we've been living in this period of, well, we're talking about 1112 payments and CARES Act payments. We've been living in a period where most entrepreneurs have been propped up by something, propped up by PPP, propped up by the 1112 payments. And things are going to end soon, and particularly in the restaurant industry. I was, well, not the restaurant industry, well, restaurants and hotels. I was talking to somebody the other day in the hotel business that was telling me that it's running at about 10% of capacity.
Yeah. I mean,
so understanding how to service, properly liquidate, and underwrite a restaurant loan right now is critical.
Trey and Barbara and Sarah, we have, we'll hold these questions over till tomorrow. We're out of time. But Lance, courtesy of Bass Pro Shop, Yes. Katie, thank you as always. Thank you for your guidelines. John, he sends his regrets. Unfortunately, he had a big death. John's a great guy to work with. He was very apologetic. I said, you have a real job here, so I think it's okay to go time to time. That's fine. So we look forward to tomorrow. We'll try to, again, add more clarity. And thank you for joining us today for Coleman Report Live and for supporting America's Main Street. Frozen, as it is. Stay safe, everyone.
Have a great afternoon.